been a little over 1 month now since BP's role in the huge oil spill unleashed by a rig explosion in the Gulf of Mexico, causing thousands of barrels of oil to leak into the ocean every day. Joining us with the latest, BP Chief Operating Officer Doug Suttles. Good morning to you again, Mr. Suttles.
Good morning.
I don't envy your position. You've got this huge mess to clean up, number one. Number two, to try and stop it. And now you have the Secretary of the Interior, Ken Salazar, basically calling you out yesterday and saying that deadline after deadline has been missed and the federal government may have to take over the operations there. How do you respond to that accusation?
You know, I'm just as frustrated as the Secretary is. I mean, we've been at this for more than a month. We've been applying the very best engineering and science we actually know, and clearly some of the things we've done haven't worked. Some have worked partially, like the riser insertion tube. I understand that frustration, but what I have to do every day and what my team has to do every day is get up and actually do everything we can to stop this flow and to actually minimize the impact. And that's what we do, and that's what we'll do again today.
So, Mr. Suttles, let me ask you this. If the federal government takes BP out of this equation and says, look, you're not doing the right job, what would they do differently, do you think?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I mean, we do more of this deep water work than any other international oil company. We're working with the very best contractors in the world, the people we work with all the time all over the world. We've had support from across the industry, so I don't know what they'd do different. I think what we're seeing is their frustration that it hasn't been solved yet, and I think that we'll just have to press on. I think that's all we can do.
So let's talk a little bit about what you have done. When you were on the show recently, you were talking about inserting this small tube. How much of the oil has that stopped from leaking?
So far, that tool, the riser insertion tool, has averaged just a little less than 2,000 barrels of oil per day. And of course, that's not all the flow by any means, but that's 2,000 barrels that didn't get into the sea, that didn't get onto the surface. So I view that as a success. It didn't get all of it. We knew it never would, but it is progress. It is a step forward, but it's not the real answer. The real answer has to be this stopping the flow.
So I know that you're drilling 2 relief wells to permanently shut down the leak, but that's going to take months. Tomorrow, you're going to try something we've been talking about on the show for some time called top kill. What is that?
Right. Well, top kill is actually a technique which has been used in the industry for many, many years. Never, of course, at these depths, under 5,000 feet of water, but it involves pumping drilling mud, a viscous mix of fluids that are very heavy. They're about twice as dense as water, at very high rate into the well to overcome the flow, and ultimately the weight of those fluids will stop it from flowing.
So you have that problem to actually stop the flow. Now you have this massive problem of trying to clean up. And Governor Jindal down in Louisiana is saying, look, not enough is being done. So how do you respond to his accusations that cleanup efforts have also not been working?
Well, I think the cleanup efforts are working, but they're a challenge, and actually until we get the flow stopped, we'll see oil continue to come ashore. I'm really pleased that we only have oil ashore in Louisiana, nowhere else to date. Where it is many of the places are very remote. Our biggest single challenge is getting people and equipment to the locations quickly. But we're changing the way we're doing that. We're putting forward operating bases in place. We're putting camps out in these remote areas so that people can get to the cleanup sites faster than we're getting them there today.
All right, Doug Suttles, BP Chief Operating Officer. As I said before, I don't envy your position. The best of luck as you try that new remedy tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you.
President